Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius from Anucauskas. Today is the 28th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here very quickly is the FTSE100. So FTSE is back in trading today, and you can see that it managed to push higher. It's still trying to push higher, but it's currently kind of getting held here near all these EMAs here on the 4-hour chart. Now near the 50, 100, and the 21 EMA. So sorry, the 50 and the 100 only, so the 21 EMA is slightly below that, but this is, like I said, this is where the index got held. For now, it seems that yes, it could travel a little bit higher, but as I mentioned on Monday in the morning, and basically for us, still this little territory is going to be somewhat of a neutral one, because in order to, let's say, consider higher levels, ideally we would like to see a nice good push above the 7,370 level. This way the index would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target areas around the 7,450 or even higher. In terms of the downside, the 7,220 zone, that's what we're looking for. A break below this could send the index towards its other key important support zone near the 7,150 zone. So as you can see that how well it played out as a nice area of support here back on the 25th of March and also on the 13th of May. So that's where we're going to target in terms of the downside, but we're, like I said, initially before we could aim for this level here, ideally we would like to see a good drop below the 7,220 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Jumping into another index, which is also going to resume trading today, so in a few minutes, and that's the Nasdaq Composite. Now, looking at this picture here, you can see that on Friday, of course, the index closed slightly in the negative territory, but still kind of remained above this key important area of support near the 7,584 zone, or 7,580 approximately here, which is marked by the lows of the 25th of March and the low of the 27th of March. Also, it was not far from the low of the 23rd of May, but just kind of fell shy from a few points from reaching that area. Now, that said, looking at this picture, like overall, we can see that yes, it is sliding lower. It's kind of making these lower highs, but it also remains below this, of course, little downside resistance line, and also below its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Now, that said, still we're going to be very cautious with this one, because for us, let's say, to target much lower areas, ideally we would like to see a drop below this little area of support here, below the 7,580. This way we could then target the next potential area of support around the 7,440 zone, so which marks the low of the 11th of March. So good potential area. Slightly below that there is a 7,410 zone as well, but in a way the first one for us is going to be still the 7,440. For now we're going to remain calm here. In terms of the upside, ideally we would like to see a nice good push, not only above this downside resistance line, but also a nice good break above the 7,796 zone, approximately there. If we do get get something like this, then yep, we will target the 7,940 level again, so which is marked near the highs of the 16th of May. So for now, we're going to remain cautious. We'll remain careful. Like I said, even if we see a push above this downside resistance line, still for us to get comfortable with higher levels, we would need to see a nice good break above this one right here, above this barrier near the 7,796 level. So keep your eyes on this one. Let's see how this is going to play out, and be very careful with the indices. Now gold is having a nice slide here today, so the bears are really enjoying this, but what's happening here, let me just quickly show you. So in a way, this upside support line, it has been running here from the lows of August last year, so it's kind of it has been, of course, violated. This is what we were looking at previously a couple of weeks ago, but as you can see now, it's slid back down. It broke below the 1280 zone, 81 approximately there. Now what I was saying this week when I was covering gold, basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this barrier right here at 1289 area. So basically we need to see a nice good break above that level here before we could consider slightly higher areas, and by slightly higher areas I mean the psychological 1300 level, and then yep, we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do with it. But again, before we can aim higher, we need to see that nice good pop above the 1289. This recent slide, of course, is not helping the upside idea, but we're still gonna keep a close eye on this upside support line. Now again, I'll repeat myself, I do understand it was violated here a few times, but as you can see that it's now trying to climb back here. If it stays above this upside support line, then yep, there could be a chance for this one to reverse earlier and push higher. But if it doesn't, if it stays below this, yes, it could travel a little bit lower. We may target these recent lows, these last week's lows near the 1273 or the 1269 zone, approximately there. But still, for us, let's say, to get comfortable with the downside in the near term, ideally we need to see a nice good break and a close at least of the 4-hour candle below the 1266 area, which previously acted as a very good area of support. So this way, a break below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yeah, we could target areas like the 1253 and 1251. But for now it's kind of too early to talk about those. For now, the main question here is, first of all, of course, will it stay above this upside support line? If it does, then it will be interesting to see if it actually stays above the 1281 zone as well. So if it does that, then yep, we could see a reversal earlier to the upside here. But if it doesn't, then yep, we will consider the 1273 and the 1269 areas as those potential targets in the very short run, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do, if it wants to travel further down. If it does, then for us to, let's say, like I said, to get comfortable with the downside in the near term, we need to see a nice good drop below the 1266 level. Jumping into a few pairs, and USDZAR. Now this is what I wanted to quickly show you guys. You don't probably look at this one very often, but nevertheless it's quite interesting to look at these sometimes. So today, as you can see from today's pivot, look at this massive jump here. Look at this massive 4-hour candle that almost managed to reach the R3. It only kind of allowed the next this fourth 4-hour candle to kind of reach that, but still, look at this massive jump. It's great. I mean, it's the bulls are really enjoying this one, but of course, with every sharp rise like that comes a small retracement. So in a way, what we're gonna do here is, yes, we are keeping a close eye on this right now. This 14 4.5968 area approximately there, which marks the which is marked near the highs of the 3rd of May. So basically, with one jump here today, this pair managed to kind of overcome the highs of this month, the highest point of this month basically. And now the big question here is, will it stay here? Will it stay above it? If it does, then, well, I mean, this increases the chances for this pair to travel further up here, and the target we've got in mind here is around the 14.75 zone, which marks the highest point of March. Now, good potential target, but then again, for now, guys, be very careful with this one. Let's see if it retraces, where exactly will it find support. In a way, it could travel back below the previous May high, below this 14.5968 area, approximately there. Of course, it may travel lower, it may hit this other high, which was reached on the 23rd of May, and it was comfortably broken today. So we may see this one traveling towards this 14.5350. If it struggles to overcome this, then we could see this one acting as a very nice support ground here, and a nice bouncing ground for the bulls to kind of jump in again and push this one higher. Of course, I can try to draw some upside support lines here, but to be honest, they're going to be somewhat of a tentative ones. So for us, let's say, to consider the downside again, well, ideally we would like to see a drop somewhere around here. And now I do understand that this is quite a big move here, but to be honest, it is doable as we can see it today. So a drop below the 14.4280 zone approximately there could potentially lead this one a little bit lower back towards the 14.3415, which is near the lows of the 20th of May, near the low of the 22nd of May. So but again guys, for now it seems that the downside is slightly off the table, or should I say near-term downside move is slightly off the table. Even if we see a slide, it could be a correction, but as you can see, the bulls are kind of still trying to push this one higher. It will be very interesting to see if it actually manages to overcome this recent high around the 14.6445 zone. But if it doesn't, then yep, this potential scenario could come into play. Like I said, we'll first target the 14.5870 zone here, but if that fails to withhold, kind of the other good potential bouncing ground for the bulls could be around here, for this pair could be around here, around the 14.5350. So keep your eyes on this one. This is the kind of the potential scenario that we're keeping a close eye on, but our near-term target could be this one here around the 14.75, which is the highest point of March. Jumping into another pair, AUDNZD. Now, both of these are somewhat strong right now. Both of these are showing some good signs against other pairs, against other currencies, but the battle between these two right now, this is going to be very interesting to watch, because as you can see, it's currently stuck in this little range here, and that's understandable given that both of them are kind of on the stronger side right now. But as you can see, the Aussie, the Australian dollar, seems to be having the upper hand for now, but still, in order to, let's say, consider the upside, ideally we would like to see a nice good push above this key area of resistance near the 1.0595 zone. This way, if we get a nice break in a close of the 4-hour candle, we may consider a possible move initially towards the 1.0615, but if that fails to withhold, then yep, it could be opening the path towards this little intraday swing high of 8th of May near the 1.0660. That's our little game plan here. Like I said, initially we will aim for this 1.05 1.0595. We need to see a nice good break and a clear close above this level. Then yep, we'll be very cautious around here near the 1.0615. But if that fails to withhold, then yep, it could be opening the path towards this 1.0660. In terms of the downside, as you can see by the arrow now here, what we're looking here is a drop below the 1.0550, 52 approximately there. This way it could open the path towards these recent lows, these May lows, which were around the 1.0515 area. So let me just quickly adjust this one here very quickly. So approximately approximately there, guys. So good potential area, good potential support zone, so around the 1.0518 and 10. So we'll keep a close eye on this. If it struggles to overcome these and drop lower, then we may see this one curving up again and pushing higher. But for now, from the very short-term perspective, what we're looking here for is the 1.0552. We need to see a nice good drop below this before we could consider slightly lower areas. So keep your eyes on this little range, and let's see which way this one breaks out to. For now, it seems that it's trying to push higher, but then again, we need to see that nice good confirmation break above the 1.0595. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's euro dollar. So for now, it's playing, it's coming in line as I've talked about this one. So basically, we're getting our nice rejection here near this 1.1175. I talked about this level in one of my videos this week, so or should I, to be more precise, yesterday. So basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 1.1175. It could play out as a nice support zone. It is doing that right now. Of course, it's trying to push higher. The only thing is that still for us, in order to get comfortable with the upside, we would like to see a nice good pop above the 1.1215 zone marked near the highs of the 27th of May, which was yesterday. And this would also, if we see a nice good push above this, this could actually also break this downside resistance line, this medium-term downside resistance line that has been running here from the highs of the 10th of January. So good potential area here, good potential gateway towards higher levels. But again, for now, until the pair is kind of stuck here, we're going to remain somewhat neutral, because if this suddenly reverses back down and drops below the 1.1175, now this is where it could turn out to be a little bit ugly for the euro dollar, and we could see this one sliding further down, potentially aiming for the 1.1130 zone, or even actually going further down towards this low here, the low of the 26th of April, and also near the low of the 23rd of May, which is around the 1.1110. But again, before we can consider these levels, we need to see that nice good drop below the 1.1175 level. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, that's 6 o'clock GMT time for my Traders Espresso, where we will also have a look at some of these instruments and a few new ones. Yep, we'll see how the market is getting along. So yep, for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye bye.